Hi, friends and neighbors, and welcome back to Disobedient. I'm your host, Peter Arena, and today I am joined by a young, aspiring, very talented musician named Adam Guinn, who's sitting here with me live in studio, as it were. The two of us are going to sit here and talk about some of his efforts to become an independent musician who is effectively disobeying the industry model of recording as it is currently typically employed by people. And so he's going to give us some of the details of how he's going about that and what he's been up to lately. He's self-produced his own album, and his personal life is a rich and very interesting one that he has incorporated into his recordings. And so I'm excited to hear him and talk to him, and I know you will be as well. Adam Guinn, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
As you, I think, are aware, we typically have one question that I ask of my guests to start my interviews, and that is, who is Adam Guinn?
Yeah, that's a hard question that I knew was coming. That we just talked about, but yeah, right now, me and my fiance just moved out to Painted Post outside of Corning in November, and had our first baby 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So yeah, it's kind of that. I'm a painter, house painter. So I'm doing that to pay the bills and keep a roof over our head while also making music. And yeah, we just made the album. She's a what do you call that? Like, went to school for web development.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah, no, we're a really great team.
That's handy.
I'm awful with technology, and she's great with it. So after we got pregnant, we moved. I had kind of not given up on music. Like, I was still writing and stuff, but I had stopped looking for gigs. I was kind of like just gonna find work in this new town because she was in Albany. She had already Syracuse. She was in Syracuse. I was from Ithaca. We moved to Corning. So I was just trying to like hit the ground running, find work, and had stopped with music and stuff. And then once a couple months went by, turned out that she had been on Messenger messaging, bars and stuff, venues, trying to find gigs. And
For you.
Yeah, for me, because she was like I never, like I said, I didn't give up on the music, but it definitely took back burner, and she was like, no way, like, this is your passion, you're great at it, so we're going to continue that as well. So she found some gigs that they went well, and that kind of reignited me.
Good.
Yeah, so we're a great team. She got my website built, set up,
And we'll have all of your stats and info and ways to connect with you in the show notes on the
okay,
show.
cool.
So
Yeah, those
you can give us the address now. Give us the website now, but then we'll of course repeat it. So
yeah, those ways of finding me are kind of growing. Yeah, the website is www.adamguinnmusic.com.
that's easy. Okay.
Yep, and that's Guinn, Guinn, like Quinn with a G.
Okay.
For some reason, that's a very confusing last name for people my entire life. Even when they see it written, they have no idea how to pronounce it.
I find people are often easily confused. I know I fall in that category. So.
Yeah, and that we use that for everything. So that's also my Facebook page is Adam Guinn Music, the YouTube channel Adam Guinn Music.
Yeah.
So it's easy to find everything, and everything just goes through the website and through YouTube. Basically, I use Facebook for promoting, and I'm actually, as of yesterday, now using TikTok to promote. as well, but
Okay.
those are just to bring people to the YouTube channel and the website ultimately.
Right. Right. Excellent.
Yeah.
So, you and I met on Facebook, more or less. I thought at first that you had just contacted me because I used to own a tavern that had a big music presence, and so I'm always getting musicians that are friending me.
Okay.
You know, because they wanted to be associated with me because I might be a potential venue, and so I thought you were one of these guys. And which there's nothing wrong with that, but I thought that that was the impetus, and I wasn't sure. But then you seemed, after we got to talking, that you were more interested in disobedient. I think, if I understood correctly.
Well, I can't remember if I had ever, if
Actually,
you were one of the people I contacted with the venue, or if I had just
That's
sent
possible.
you the music video or the invite to
Right.
subscribe to the channel, because I do that a lot of, I personally send people that on Messenger because
Right,
Facebook kind of squashes any posts you put with a link or anything.
Yeah.
So I think that was initially it, and then I just saw, I think once we were interacting, Facebook was showing me your posts, and I saw that you had a podcast, so I was like,
Right.
whoa.
And so this podcast, Disobedient, is it has tended since its inception to be focused primarily on this kind of socio-political stuff, and especially what's been going on in the past couple of years. But I didn't want it to be exclusively that. I want it to be to look at people who are trailblazing and doing things differently than wherever the herd is going. I really like people and am interested in the stories of people who are effectively swimming upstream, and people who are, saying, hey, look, there's another way of doing things, and they're blazing new trails.
Yeah.
And so once you started telling me, you kind of made your pitch to me, and I was like, aha, now I see where this cat's going. And so that's when you and I decided, let's do this podcast episode, and I've been really looking forward to this
Me
ever
too.
since.
Yeah, it was like the day I saw that, or the day before, I was talking to Lexi about how I need, like, it's like you can gig. Like, I don't know, for me anyway, it's been, you can gig as much as you want, but it's like you don't really start getting anywhere, it feels like, until you're doing things like this. You're having other people,
Yeah.
talking about your stuff, and more ways of finding you than just the
Mm-hmm.
music.
Yeah, and so now, as this podcast has developed, we've, like you, have been reaching out into different venues. So now we've got a YouTube channel, obviously, and we're also on BitChute. But then
I don't know that one.
BitChute's just another venue. It tends to be not censored.
Okay.
So a lot of the people who have found themselves kicked off of YouTube have been gravitating to places like BitChute and Rumble.
Yeah,
Rumble's
Rumble I
another big
know
one.
of.
And then, of course, we're on the audio only, and so this conversation will be sans video on iTunes and Spotify. I don't really have any other audio only venues for it right now. But then, so like you, it's just another way of getting the word out, and as many ways that you can kind of attract someone to actually listen and hear what you have to say, or in your case, what you have to perform, and
Yeah, no, it was
get your
it was a
talent
really
out.
cool meeting that I was really
So
excited about.
So I want you to help me understand, help our listeners understand what it is that you've got in way of a mental model of how you want to pursue this performance and recording career that does blaze new trails and breaks free of the way other people have been doing things traditionally, typically. Can you help us out with that?
Yeah, so I didn't even really know that was an option until let's see, where do I start with this? How deep can I go on this answer?
Go as deep as you want, man.
Oh.
Go wherever you want to go.
Yeah, like I didn't know. So like I was saying to you earlier, the first album, God, that's a whole story too. It was I played a show at a festival on Halloween night. There was this band, John Welton and the Awakening, headlining it. Who I don't know if anyone listening or you've ever heard of them. They're pretty big, and they're big out in Ohio for sure. They were headlining it, and they were also doing the sound. So they heard me play. The drummer, my friend Eric Diaz, who's I didn't know at the time, was blown away by my songwriting and stuff.
Nice.
So afterwards, he's like, "Man, you ever think about making an album?" And I was like, "Yeah, for basically the past 20 years." So he's like, "Well, come out to Ohio. I've got a studio, and let's make an album." So took about 6-7 months of kind of back and forth, me sending him songs. First, I was like, I gotta get the money together. I started a GoFundMe and had the money in like 36 hours. I raised like $2,500 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. Everything just went smooth. Like it was really meant to be.
And help me. When was this? How long ago was this?
This was it was Halloween 2020.
Okay.
So it was during the thick of quarantine and stuff.
Right.
And where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so we did all this back and forth. I went out there. By that point, it was probably January or February. Went out for 3 days. We did all the recording, 11 songs. And that was like a different kind of experience because I was playing with a band. I was playing with this really killer band, like, 30-year career musicians. And so that album's got a totally different sound. I'm going off track here. So I did that album thinking...
So let me recap real quick if I'm understanding. So you hook up with this fella. He's in Ohio. You're somehow managing to gather the funds together rather quickly,
Yeah.
and then you also are able to assemble some really kick-ass studio musician quality guys.
Well, it was the band. Not all of them, but it was John Welton and the Awakening.
Oh, that band.
That band, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's the drummer. It was a couple of them. He was the drummer. Jono, who's the bass player. They just wanted to be on the album with me, so they
all your original stuff.
Yes. Yep. I only play original music. I don't play covers or anything.
So
yeah.
Go ahead.
It was a great experience, but my point was I did that. Now I had this album, this really good album, but I'm not part of a label because it's going back to your original thing of how did I get on this independent track. And I released the album, I think, in July 2021 by myself, knowing nothing about promoting or social media. I just started a Facebook, had never had one up till that point or anything.
Right.
And so it went nowhere. It flopped because I had no idea how to promote it. So then I kind of went into this thing of like, maybe you just can't do this independently. And then after Lexi and I got together, she could be that whole piece of it for me. But what really made me be like, this is totally possible is seeing other musicians who have done it, Tom McDonald being one of them, who is like the biggest independent rapper in the world and probably going to end up being like one of the biggest rappers of all time, in the big picture. And there's a couple other of them who did it 100% by themselves. Like he did everything with CDs still, like within the past 5 years. He has a website. He does YouTube videos. They blow up. They bring people to his website where they buy physical CDs. He wasn't even digital up until recently. And he's selling thousands and thousands and thousands of CDs, all just through his self-promotion and his message, which is amazing. You would probably, I don't know if you like, what kind of music you're into, but you would probably really dig the message because it's 100%
disobedient.
Screw the system, in every way, and how sick and twisted it is. So yeah, seeing that and kind of learning how he went about it and stuff, like obviously that's not going to work the same way for everyone, but I was like, oh shit, no, you can absolutely do this today more so than ever because of the internet and stuff, because of social media, because you're not, in the past, basically you had to send your music to a record company, your demo. If they decided they liked it, you made it. If not, no one ever even heard it. It had to get past like one guy who was going to listen to it and decide if you were making it or not.
What prevents you from being hindered or foiled by the gatekeepers now if you are independent?
I think that's still, you can easily be shadow banned on, or just straight up banned, but shadow banned on social media and stuff. I think that's still a very real possibility. There's just many more roads that you can take, and if they stop you somewhere, you can. But that's why if you do it, so like I try to use social media and stuff as little as possible. It's basically just for promoting, and we started our own website that we own, and my own email address that's not even part of Google or anything.
Right.
And you're selling, because the first album I went through this company, CD Baby, who's a distributor. They don't get a piece of your music. You pay them, but they're not a label or anything. They don't own your music in any way.
Right.
They distributed the album digitally to basically everybody. Deezer, Spotify, YouTube Music, YouTube. So the album was everywhere, but then they're still having to promote it and stuff. I recently pulled that, like completely cut ties with them as well, pulled the album. I think you can still find it on Spotify and stuff. I think it's June 30th. It'll stop being available everywhere.
So in other words, they're able to take your music, create a seed, and then put the seed in all these different places, but it's up to you to water all those things in order for that thing to flourish.
Yeah, and the reason that's still a great thing, because I'm also on this thing, saying like screw streaming, basically. Like that's why I'm going through the website and stuff now, instead of I could have my music for a very low price on all these streaming services. But streaming has become, it's like they've normalized, like we just rent our music. Like, when it used to be CDs or records or tapes or anything like that, you bought it and you owned it for as long as you wanted to. You paid for it once, as long as you had a CD player to play it or something. Now they've made streaming is you pay between like $9 and $14 a month, depending on which service you're using.
Okay.
And you have unlimited access to all this music, but you're renting it every month. Or if suddenly you don't have a phone, you don't have it anymore. Or if the website,
it's all gone. Yeah.
If Spotify goes down, you don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
And when I got to really thinking about that, and then plus, like, the first album, I never even broke 1,000, say, on Spotify, 1,000 streams with any of the songs. But definitely got several hundred on a few of them. But I never got any of the... I never saw any money from it, because you're making... And I was all set up with BMI. All my music is registered with BMI, and CD Baby is another... recording rights organization or whatever they call it, so that you're getting your royalties.
Yeah.
But
CD Baby is one of those?
Yeah, I mean, they're a distributor, but they're also one of those.
Because you have BMI, you've got ASCAP, and then you've got there's a third one that I'm familiar with.
Yeah, I only know the two of the original. Like BMI and ASCAP go way back. They go back to like the 20s or 30s. Yeah. But CD Baby gets the royalties supposedly that, like the overseas royalties and all these, there's ones that BMI and stuff can't get.
Oh, interesting.
And they cover all that. And they do it, but the problem with streaming is basically until you're going viral with every single song or video or something, you're not seeing any money, because I looked it up. I don't remember what it is now, but one stream is like 0.005 cents or something like that you make off of one listen. So yes, if all of your videos and your songs are blowing up, you're making a lot of money, but it's still kind of like, seems to me anyway, it's a fraction of what artists used to make off of albums. Like the album means nothing anymore. The money is all coming from you getting big enough to be getting bigger paying shows and stuff.
So
or you have enough.
It in and of itself becomes just another stepping stone to this other thing that is supposedly the promised land, which is in your case you're saying that it's the live performance.
Yeah, I mean,
interesting. Because that's the one thing that can't quote unquote be pirated. They've got control over that. You got your ticket masters that are able to. We know these human beings are going through the gate and they've got a ticket and they can't they can't virtually steal the live performance, and so
yeah.
Okay,
so you still
I see that.
You get money from that, but the album, making the album used to be almost like the end goal for anyone trying to make it in music, because people had to buy that album to hear it. They would put the single on the radio that would get people listening to you, and then they had to go buy your album to hear your music. They couldn't listen to it for free online.
Right.
And it just kind of sucks to me that that's all gone. I mean, they say it's coming back. Like, there was actually a rise in CD sales over the past 2 years.
Vinyl's coming back.
Yeah, vinyl's huge again, and they charge a ridiculous amount of money for it.
Yeah.
So now they're saying that CD's on its way back too, because people are once again liking the hard copy, the tangible thing that they buy and they own. But since vinyl's so expensive, they're all switching over to CD because that's still really cheap to make. So I think a lot of people are coming around to that and like enjoying that again. But yeah, I always liked the album, and like you also lose with streaming. You lose the artwork and the booklet that you used to get. Like you could do all these.
Sit there and stare at.
Yeah, you read the lyrics, and you'd go through the whole thing and the case, and like you'd have your collection on the the wall and stuff like that. And there's some downsides to CDs, I guess. Like you need a lot of space, or you have your booklet in the car that they're always falling out of and stuff. But even besides CD though, there's still my stuff now. The first one, The Hard Part, the album The Hard Part, I have available in CD on the website. You can order it. Lexi and I ship it out to you. It's not coming through any other company or anything. It's all at my house.
Got it.
And she's getting those switched over to also have the MP3s available to buy.
Right.
So.
And through your website though.
Yeah, through my
exclusively?
Website. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, no, there's no one else. The only other company or person involved would be if I run out of CDs and I need more made, I'm going to go through disc makers and they'll ship me the CDs. Thought about going really hardcore and literally burning them ourselves and doing the artwork and stuff, but then you can't get like a barcode and stuff on them. It's kind of like bootlegging your own CDs.
Right. So it seems to me as we talk that there's effectively this evolutionary process of adaptation that's going on, just like in any other area of pursuit. You've got people that are effectively trying to make a better mousetrap, and there's competition, and then there's innovation, and new niches and opportunities present themselves, and so you're effectively pursuing this adaptive model of trying to find a way around something that is not to your advantage, and developing your own path forward that, one, so that you can be creatively expressive of your art, but then also two, it's financially sustaining.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm kind of, as we're talking, I'm thinking about the model that a lot of these journalists have been going through, trying to figure out a way to now recapture a financially viable model for their writings. And so you see the rise of Substack, where you've got really, really talented authors and journalists who have to go to Substack and then create this subscriber only type stuff. And of course, there's varying degrees of that where they're able to have certain portions of their work, or maybe all of their stuff is available for free, or just portions of it, or intros, and then you have to be a subscriber, and then you can see the rest. And they're also battling the censorship issue, right? So you've got a lot of these folks that they're dealing with the censorship problems, and so then they say, well, screw you, I'm going to go over to Substack and I'm going to do my thing, and they end up taking a hit. They end up taking a massive hit. They might be going from a 6-figure job working for the man, but the man doesn't give them editorial liberties that they want, and they're having to produce stuff like you or other people. They don't want to produce what they're being told to produce. They want to do what they want to do. And so we've seen this massive revolution in that sphere, and the same thing is going on with music. And you're a great example of that kind of adaptive model.
Yeah, and I think I think it is happening in a lot of places, a lot of different avenues of creativity, because like you're saying, I mean, that's kind of like an age-old thing too, with labels are going to limit. They're like, if you get picked up by a label, they're going to want you doing a certain thing.
Oh,
Not
sure.
all of them. I mean, there are some really cool, smaller labels out there and stuff, or ones that even get fairly big and kind of stick to their guns and ethics and stuff. But there's always going to be some kind of control that's not there if you are completely in charge of what you're doing. And it's harder. Like, it's a lot harder to handle every piece of it, and maybe you don't even get anywhere with it. But
Right.
I would rather fail as myself than succeed as somebody else, or someone wants me to be. And that's kind of been my entire life. Life has always been harder than it needs to be, because I kind of refuse to comply with things. If I don't believe in them, I just won't do it, period.
Right. Once you scrutinize something and you say, this doesn't match up with my morals and my ethical look of how things ought to be done, then there's no swallowing that pill after.
Yep.
So we're going to get a little sample of your music here in a bit, but I wanted to ask you if you had to characterize your style of music and the content of your music, what would you...
That's always a tough question. I always like to say...
I don't ask easy questions there, Ed. Just letting you know.
Yeah. It's like... I've always wanted to say, when someone asks what kind of music I do, it's like the kind I write. Like, I don't know how to better answer it than that. But I mean, if you want, a genre or something, I dabble in country, folk, blues, different kinds of things. I've actually gotten really into the blues in the past 2 years, but for the most part, my creative process has always been, I sit down with my guitar, I start playing, I get a chord progression or a riff or something, and all of a sudden there's a song on the page in front of me. It just kind of happens. The music always comes first, though. I'll start playing, and then lyrics come to the music.
And how did you learn how to play?
I taught myself, and which was kind of stupid, because my dad was a phenomenal guitar player and musician, and songwriter. He always wanted to teach me when I was a kid, wasn't really interested, and then around 14, 15, all my friends started, went through the we're all going to play guitar and start a band phase. And so I jumped on that, but I stuck with it because I knew... so I heard Tom Petty for the first time when I was 7 years old or something, and at that age I heard a couple of his songs on music videos on a VHS, and I was like, holy shit, I want to be a songwriter. And so when I started playing guitar, I didn't really want to shred or play covers or, just learn all the scales and play them really fast. I wanted to songwrite. So as soon as I got to a point where I knew the major and minor chords and I could start putting those together, that was it. I was often writing songs. Um,
I've often thought of songwriters, guys who have really good, rich lyrics, as basically being poets that are employing the foundation or the backdrop of music as the setting onto which they're laying their poetry.
Yeah, well, I used to think I was a poet. I wanted to be a poet for a minute, and then realized I was way better at it when I had music behind it.
All right. All right.
It is basically poetry, but it's definitely different to create it, in my experience anyway. There's some songwriters who can also write really good poems, but
yeah,
I haven't really been able to do that.
All right, well, let's gear up here, and why don't you grab your guitar, and we're gonna before you do anything, we're gonna change that mic over, I think, right? Or are we gonna keep it that way?
Well, no, we're gonna change it when I play, but let's give it a second.
Okay.
We're gonna keep talking.
So while he's getting ready here, I'm gonna basically remind folks that we really appreciate folks. We're sitting here with Adam Guinn, young, aspiring and up-and-coming singer-songwriter, performer, who's basically breaking some of the molds of the recording industry models. And don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share Disobedient. Adam's stuff is going to be available on our page here via the links that will be down below, and we're gonna have a nice little sample of his stuff. And if you haven't managed to check it out, we've got some great episodes that we've done with some really, really interesting guests. We have been getting a lot of great feedback from our conversation with Julianne Romanello, and we also just finished up a conversation with Reese Perry, who's also a freedom fighting mom, who is over in Western New York. She's being quite disobedient over in her own way. And how are we doing there?
We're good. I should have brought my... So I have this thing, I basically can't remember any of my songs. I write a lot of songs, and I can't play them without my songbook, without my lyrics.
Okay.
And I should have brought my music stand. I think this will be probably fine.
Well, we can probably... You want to try this?
Oh, that might work. I'm gonna bring this closer to me, though. Here, now we can pop this down. The volume thing. Yeah, I guess we'll give that a shot. We'll move this in.
What's the name of this song?
So this song is called Off in the Blue. This song may or may not end up on the new album. I think it's probably going to be the start of the next album.
Okay.
But I'm really stoked on it. I wrote it like 2 days ago. And it's probably going to show up on YouTube. I did a video of it this morning, but it'll be on the channel maybe even by the end of today, because I'm really excited about it. But
I'm going to get up and let you take over.
Let's see how I start. Somewhere ahead and off in the blue, I see a boy sitting there, recognize you. Whose dreams were not vast, but simple and pure, whose intentions were true, and he did not shirk no shore. Way back behind me, I hear a voice saying to me, don't ever let them know you compromise. My father saying to the thine self be true. Your self-respect is one thing you don't ever want to lose. on back and wash on the shore, but they're all twisted and faded from the sun soaking more. Some things I've forgotten more than I've heard, and lost it don't hurt as much as the bridge just don't burn. Ever felt like contentment, but I'm sure in each one there was something they said in amen. And I remember them. But I never need them again. And I'll never know where I would have went if I stayed where I was, and thinking on it ain't time well spent. No, I'm here right now, and I'm right here with you, and there ain't no thing that together we cannot do. Somewhere ahead and off in the blue, I see a boy that everyone tells me looks like you. He's smart and he's pure and he's strong and he's kind, and everything in life feels worthwhile when I see his eyes. And I remember it all. And I'll always be grateful for it all.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
That was fantastic.
Let's clip that back up. Thank you.
All right. Adam Guinn. What's the name of that song again?
That song is called Off in the Blue.
Off in the Blue. Is this an earlier recording or writing of yours?
No, I wrote this 2 days ago.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm being picked up. Yeah, that's why I wanted to play it, because I just wrote it, and I'm always excited about the newer songs.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. That's got.
Thank you.
You've got power there. There's strength there. There's a message. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Thank you.
When's the next album come out? And tell us again. Let me back up on that. What's the name of the current album?
The one that's available right now?
Yeah.
The Hard Part.
The Hard Part.
The Hard Part.
But you're working on another album. You're putting together songs like this for the next album.
Yeah, it's more or less done. The problem is I never stop writing, so I keep writing new songs and then being like, oh, that needs to go on the album now. There needs to be a cutoff somewhere, but yeah. So the upcoming album is called All the Way Home, and we're shooting to have that out sometime later this summer. There's no real definitive date because I'm trying to do a way better job this time of promoting it. And the first one I rushed to get it out. I just wanted it to be out. And I really want to bring it into people's awareness this time. That's why we've done the 2 music videos. Those are singles off of. Those are 2 songs that are on this album. So yeah, we're trying to do that for a while, and no real set date on when it's going to be available yet.
Okay, well, you let us know when it comes out, and we'll do our best to help others get to know about it.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Yeah, so I think this has been a fantastic conversation. Let's kind of round it out with whatever's on your mind. Maybe something you want to say in closing, and
I don't know. You mean kind of like a spiel
whatever you think, dude. Sometimes it's about gratitude. Sometimes it's about a message you want to impart to people. Whatever comes in your heart.
Yeah, no, I mean, I really appreciate you having me on the show, and yeah, I guess for like a message, that's a kind of a cool. Maybe I should give a message. Message would be like, I say it in that song. That was something my dad always said to me growing up, and when I was a kid, it was just something he always said. And as I got older, and I think it's a Shakespeare line or something, "To thine own self be true." He would say that all the time to us, and that's partly a big part of why I am the way I am. But I feel like that's it. That's the whole thing. Like you gotta be true to yourself. So if you have a dream, or whatever you want to go after, you gotta just go after it and make it work. And like it's like now, I've got kids, and we have like, it's this whole like, a lot of people would say, well, you can't go after that now. But if you find the right person who's gonna go through hell with you, and you're gonna do that for each other, you're gonna back each other and be a team, and you can have it all. You can have all those dreams, and also family, and work all the time to make it all work until hopefully, your dream works and you're making money off of that or whatever.
Well, I think in part, when I listen to you talk and I listen to you perform, I think about a lot of these really talented singer-songwriters who came out of the Tin Pan Alley venue, the Neil Diamonds. I know it sounds a little corny that way, but the Neil Diamonds of the world who started off pretty rough and tumble, but they couldn't do anything else other than their art. They have to do that. They have to make the music. They have to write the songs. They're compelled to do it, and that's it could be a cross to be borne across your shoulders at times, I'm sure, but it's also a massive gift. It really is.
Yeah, it is. And I never stopped writing. I always said, like, we're really going after it this time. And even if it doesn't work out, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what not workout is. It's like if you're, I try not to get too caught up in the end game, that
exactly.
My goal is I don't need to be the Beatles or anything. I just want to support my family.
At least maybe a Ringo.
I want to support my family and do the things we want to do in life with my music.
Yeah.
I don't need to be a billionaire and like this like giant star or something. I just want to make a living off of it, and a decent living, so that I don't have to do anything else, and I can be a musician full time. Yeah. And on top of that, inspire people. Hopefully, one of the main things I've always been told about my music after people hear it at a show or something is how they could relate to it. There was one line in a song or one whole song or something that just like really hit home and helped them with something they were going through, or
Boom.
Let them know they weren't alone in something they were going through. And that's what it's all about as well. And that having, like, I've always said I could have one real fan over 1,000, casual listeners, make it all worth it. So yeah, even if I don't, I paint houses for the rest of my life or whatever, I'm always going to write music and probably perform it, because it is something that I need to do, that I love doing.
Right. Well, Adam, Guinn, it's been a pleasure having you on Disobedient, and we look forward to this next album and perhaps having you back on at some point down the road.
Oh, absolutely, man. That'd be great.
Love to have you perform sometime down the road again. That'd be great.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, that ends another episode of Disobedient. Thank you again for joining us. Again, remember to like and subscribe and share and comment on our YouTube and BitChute channels and on iTunes and Spotify, wherever you're listening or watching. And also remember, we've got Adam's website information and other social media contact information in the show notes. So have a great one, and we'll talk again soon.